This is your ultimate stop for everything sports. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Should I say more? From the NFL, MLB, the NBA to MMA, it's all in here. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Listen now.
Welcome, everyone, to the GSMC Football Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I am your host, Jeff Malinoff, and with me, as always, is my good buddy, Mark. Oh, my God, I almost called you Matt. Mark Souza. Maybe not good buddy. But
I'm a franchise quarterback. You don't even remember my name.
I'm the one that opens, so I start.
That's fine.
You're the backup. Anyways.
You know what they say? It's not who starts the game, it's who finishes the game.
I finished the episodes, too. I closed them.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. Anyways. This is our 499th episode here at GSMC Football Podcast. Tomorrow is 500. How insane is that? I was talking to our boss, Tate, and he was like, "Shut up, no way!" Like he was blown away by it. So I thought that was pretty cool. Anyways, we got a lot to talk about here in the football. We got new head coaching signings. We got Kyle Murray potentially. It sounds like it's almost a done deal going to the NFL draft at whatever height he's at, because that's the main issue what people are talking about, as well as some surveys defensive players had about quarterbacks and any other news and quips, tips, and tricks we will talk about. But let's get into it first things first. Kyle Murray, the San Francisco Chronicle has said that the A's are expecting him to go to the NFL draft and declare. He has not officially declared yet, but seems like it's going to be a done deal. What are your thoughts on this, Mark?
I think if football is what he wants to do, if that's where his heart is, then he should absolutely do it, because I do think that he will be picked in the first round. And we know as football fans that being a first-round pick is a lot more valuable than being picked in the second round, even if it's by one draft slot. Just the fact that you're able to get that fifth year on the contract, the money year, I basically call it, because the salary jumps so high in that last year of your rookie deal. So I think he should absolutely do it. He would be turning down $4.9 million from the Oakland Athletics if he does play football, but I think that it's not really much of a difference. In fact, he'll probably make more playing football in his first contract if he is a first-round pick.
Yeah, and of course, if he doesn't make it in the NFL, he can always go back to baseball.
It's easier to go back to baseball from football than to go to football from baseball. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I'm assuming he's going to say, "Do I have a chance here if I want to come back?" And they're probably going to say, "Absolutely." Because why wouldn't you? What do you have to lose in that situation? You're signing him to a minor league deal.
Yeah, I mean, you have something to lose. You can get hurt.
Not him. I meant the team.
Oh, the team? Yeah.
The A's is what I'm talking about.
Well, the A's have everything to lose, right?
Do they?
I mean, if he doesn't play baseball, they lose that draft pick.
Yeah,
he
but
was picked pretty high.
How many times it's a 27-round draft, for crying out loud, so.
Yeah, no, that's true, but it's still a first-round pick. He was picked one of the, top 10, top 12 players in the baseball draft, so, I mean, it's unfortunate. They obviously picked him thinking that he was going to play baseball.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but again, it's one of those things in where you got to go with the cards you're dealt with. So.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, what do you think? Do you think he'll be the first pick or the first quarterback taken at least?
Very possibly. I would say there's a very good chance, because there is word that Josh Rosen might be traded to get the first pick to be
so not
Kyle
just
Murray.
The first quarterback, but you think that he could be the first quarterback and the first pick in the NFL draft.
Yeah, that's what the rumors are saying, that the new coach of the Arizona Cardinals, Kingsbury, is very high on Kyler Murray.
Yes. In October, Kingsbury was asked about Kyler Murray, and he said if he had the number 1 overall pick, he would pick Murray.
Yeah. So if they do trade Rosen, then it's almost a
problem
done deal.
is Kingsbury has no opinion on who the Cardinals are drafting. They made that very clear.
Yeah.
He is the head coach that will not be involved in player personnel. So with that being said, does his opinion on Murray matter much or any at all?
Maybe 50-50. Is that fair to say?
I don't wait 50-50 like
it matters. It doesn't. Like
wait, there's a 50% chance that his opinion matters.
Like I'm saying, like I'm 50-50 on it. I'm like it might matter, it might not. I'm not sure what they're gonna take from it.
I think they.
Does that make sense?
I think that Steve Keim, the general manager of the Cardinals, couldn't care less what Kingsbury thinks about Kyler Murray. If I'm being completely honest, because Steve Keim picked Josh Rosen. And I don't think that he's going to change his mind about what he thinks about Josh Rosen at this point. It's an ego thing in the NFL. It's an ego thing. I picked my guy. I'm keeping my guy.
You don't. No.
I will tell you right now that I feel like there's less than a 1% chance that the Cardinals take Kyler Murray.
Yeah, less than 1%.
Yeah.
So like 0.2, 0.3.
Yeah, less than 1. You can figure it out from there. But that's my opinion that that Rosen will be the Cardinals quarterback next year.
Okay.
Now, let's move on from the Cardinals, though. Will he be the first quarterback taken? Because that is another topic. That is another question. We don't know for sure.
It's going to be down to him or Haskins, so it's up to who.
Probably.
So it's probably going to go down to either New York Giants or Jacksonville. I'm saying Jacksonville will probably go with Kyler Murray, I'm going to be honest with you, because they've already picked the big, tall guy with the huge arm in Blake Bortles. And so they might go the complete opposite route with the short guy that has speed. And I can see the Giants going for Haskins.
Yeah, maybe.
Those two that's where their two are destined for, Jacksonville and New York.
100%?
I'm 99% positive that's where they're both going to go.
What about teams that could possibly jump over them?
Like?
Denver?
They just signed Keenum to that 3-year contract.
Yeah, but he's in year 2.
Mm-hmm.
It's only a 3-year contract. They didn't really sacrifice the future for him.
Right.
So if there's a quarterback that they like,
maybe
they could get that quarterback in.
I could see Miami also trading up because it looks like they're done with Tannehill.
Miami's interesting, though, because if it's true what we've heard about them trying to not do well the next 2 years so they can get the number 1 pick when Trevor Lawrence comes out, we're hearing a lot. I've been hearing a lot, at least, that the Dolphins are actively trying to lose games in the next 2 years so they can get the best.
I have heard this as well. They are tanking. That's their.
So if that's the case, they're not taking a quarterback this year. I don't think.
We'll see, but anything can happen. You know?
I mean, like, if your goal is to get Lawrence, why are you taking a quarterback now? You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make sense.
They're waiting 2 years for Lawrence. I see what they're doing.
Yeah, they might as well just sign like a guy like Flacco for 3 years and just ride
How about
that
just
out.
forfeit all your games? If this is,
I don't think that would be allowed.
I know. I'm just saying, like, you're not really going to try these next couple of seasons.
I know that Haskins, I think, wants to be a Giant. He's from New Jersey. He's from that area, so it makes a lot of sense. He's 6'3". He's got a big arm.
All I ask is he doesn't pull an Eli Manning and say, "I'm not playing for this team."
I don't think he has that kind of clout.
Or I'm sorry, that wasn't Eli Manning saying that. That was his dad saying it because his dad spoke for him.
The Manning name had a lot of clout, though. They were able to kind of throw their weight around.
I just didn't like the fact that he was like, when you're not even in the NFL yet and you're choosing what team you want to be on, who do you think you are?
I mean, it worked out for him.
I don't care if he got drafted by the Oakland Raiders. He should have been grateful. That's all I'm saying.
That might be true, but it worked out. He won.
Yeah.
Like,
It's not right, though.
He was able to go to the Giants, and they won 2 Super Bowls.
It's not. I don't think it's right, personally, but okay.
I mean, no one's saying it's right or wrong. It just is.
I just hope this doesn't happen again. 'Cause I'm sick and tired of rookies saying, guys who aren't even in the NFL saying, I don't want to play for this team because they suck or they're low market. It's like, you go to where you're drafted, son.
Mm-hmm.
That's just all I have to say about that.
All right. Anyways, so
What's up?
I mean, that kind of got derailed a little bit. But I was going to ask, will his height stop him from being the number one pick in terms of Kyler Murray?
Some people say it says he's built at 5'11", but some people say like guys who are like 5'9" say he's not taller than me. So
I think he's probably closer to 5'9" than 6 foot. If I had to guess,
that's a huge difference.
it is
What's the average height in the NFL like
for a quarterback.
Yeah,
probably 6'2", 6'3",
okay, so
6'3", I'd
he's
say.
well below the average.
If he's 5'9", then he's half a foot shorter than the average.
Yeah, that's a
So if he does measure in at 5'9", is he the first quarterback taken?
again. It depends on what the Cardinals do.
Okay, so if the Cardinals don't take him, which they probably won't, is he the first quarterback taken?
Yes. No, wait. The Giants have a pick before Jacksonville, correct?
As of right now, the Giants would be the team most likely to take a quarterback after.
Jacksonville.
No, their Giants are higher than Jacksonville. So the Giants,
That's what I meant. Giants, then Jacksonville.
Right as it stands right now, none of the teams in the top 4 are taking a quarterback unless something weird happens. Like the Raiders could cut Derek Carr and take quarterback. The Cardinals could trade Rosen. Yes, like these are possibilities, but they're really unlikely. But the team with the need at quarterback, the first one to pick is the Giants at number 5. Then Jacksonville's at number 6.
Okay. I can see Jacksonville trading up.
Mm-hmm.
I can see them trading to maybe the number 2 pick, even maybe the number 3 pick. I don't see them trading up all the way to the first pick because you'll have to give up a lot because it's the infamous first pick in the draft. So their best bet is probably going for the second.
What about
pick.
Cincinnati? They're an interesting team.
What
that
about
could be in
them?
a quarterback mix.
Okay. Where are they getting? Where's their draft positioning? Like, isn't it like 11? Pretty sure it's 11. So they'll have to do some pretty good trading to get a good quarterback out of the draft. I think maybe Daniel.
But they won't. They probably won't have to go up to number 1. They could probably go to number 4. In fact, the Bucks have the 5th pick. The Giants are number 6. The Jaguars are number 7. So you don't have to necessarily jump into the top 3. You can probably drop into the top 5. You can jump into the top 5, like maybe the 5th pick.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, the Broncos are 10. The Bengals are 11. The Dolphins are at 13, and the Redskins are at 15. Those are some possible quarterback destinations.
Okay.
Wouldn't you agree the Redskins probably need a quarterback more than almost every other team?
At the moment right now, yes. But I think they're going to – it sounds like they're going – it feels like they're going for a free agent quarterback.
Which right now would be a guy like Flacco and Teddy Bridgewater.
But Flacco, like, he's getting up there in age, and they love their older players.
Although, we don't know if Flacco would be a free agent. He might get traded.
I guess he can get traded to the Redskins for, like, a
maybe
conditional 5th-round pick.
I could see the Redskins and the Broncos as the 2 likeliest teams to jump into the top 5.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if either
but
one.
you have to
would
give
go
up your next first-round pick, right?
Mhm.
Next year's first-rounder.
Well, we know how important a quarterback is, and if you if you think Kyler Murray is the franchise or Haskins is the franchise, you could jump in front. You could jump up.
True.
I will say, you know who won this report that Kyler Murray is entering the draft?
Who?
Every team in the top 5, because now that pick becomes a little bit more valuable. If you're the Cardinals, if you're the 49ers, if you're the Raiders, if you're the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, if you're the New York Jets, your pick becomes more tradable than before. So you're able to maybe really get a lot in return now than you would have before. Cause
Not like 2 first-round picks?
I don't know. Maybe
3
or maybe
first,
an extra
4
second.
17 first-round picks.
Like, for example, let's use the Jets
Okay.
at pick 3. And let's use the Broncos at pick 10. What would it take for the Broncos to jump to number 3? Obviously, they'd have to give up their first-round pick next year.
And swap picks this year.
You're right. So to swap this year,
I'm going to say a second this year and a first next year and maybe a third.
I would say a second and a first, and then you're not giving up 2 firsts.
I would say a third-round pick next year. So two picks this year, the 10th pick and then the second-round pick. The next year you get their first pick and their third pick.
I think that makes a lot of sense.
And Philip Lindsay. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Maybe even trade Case Keenum. Screw it.
Isn't it funny how Philip Lindsay, a undrafted player, is all of a sudden a
hot commodity? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Once his undrafted contract expires, is it a 1-year deal when you're undrafted?
They usually are signed for a couple of years.
He's going to get paid big time.
I mean, the players agree to a deal. So, like, you could be undrafted and get millions of dollars, or you could be undrafted and get the minimum for a year. It just depends on, I guess, who.
They probably signed an extension of some kind during the season. Just that was under the radar.
If Kyler Murray really is 5'11", is he the number 1 pick or the number 1 quarterback? Not the number 1 pick because we don't know, but the number 1 quarterback for sure. If he measures in at 5'11", like no BS, all the rumors are gone. He stands up there. They measure him like they do at the combine, 5'11".
I can see it. Yes, I can see him as the number 1 pick.
5'11" is Russell Wilson's size.
That's why I'm saying that.
For comparison, for everybody who's listening. I think Russell Wilson's the shortest starting quarterback. Drew Brees is right there at 6 feet.
And
Baker Mayfield's 6 feet or 6'1". He's
Russell
big.
Wilson won a Super Bowl, so that's why I'm saying if he's the same height, I don't think anyone's going to matter about his height.
And Brees won a Super Bowl, and Mayfield might be.
He might win Rookie of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
AFC Offensive Rookie of the Year, probably. That's an award, right?
Will he win it, or will his teammate win it? Chubb.
No. If it's AFC Offensive Rookie of the Year,
or will Philip Lindsay win it? Philip Lindsay made the Pro Bowl.
If the Rookie of the Year for the entire NFL is Baker Mayfield, then I can see Lindsay getting the AFC Rookie Offensive Player of the Year.
Do they have a difference there?
I think they have an offensive. I think they have an NFL Rookie of the Year.
I know they have an offensive and a defensive, but they don't have an MVP.
Do they not?
They have an offensive Rookie of the Year and a defensive Rookie of the Year.
Of all the NFL, though.
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, so that's why if Mayfield gets that Offensive Rookie of the Year award, then, yeah, there's a National Football League Rookie of the Year.
They have a defensive, too, right? D-Roy and O-Roy?
Yeah.
Anyways, we need to take a break, but before we do that, what would it look like if we all just listen more? Listening to audiobooks inspires us, motivates us, and brings us closer. There's no better place to listen than with Audible. Get your first audiobook free along with 2 selected Audible original titles and exclusive fitness programs when you start a 30-day trial. So take the time to listen on Audible. Visit audible.com/GSMCbook or text the code GSMCbook to 500-500 to get started. Again, start your 30-day free trial. You can do that today by just texting the code GSMCbook to 500-500.
What happens to your decision-making when you drink? Well, after one drink, you feel confident. A few more, and calling your ex at 1 a.m. seems like a great idea. And you're pretty sure the secret to a great taco is 4-day-old macaroni. The bottom line, drunk you doesn't make great decisions. So you're risking a DUI or worse if you count on him to get you home. Plan before you party. Get home safe. Brought to you by Washington Target Zero.
Welcome back, everyone, to the GSMC Football Podcast. We finished talking about Kyler Murray and his NFL possibly number 1 overall choice. Who knows what's going to happen? But now let's move on to head coaching. We have a couple new head coaching signings.
Yes.
First one is let's go to. Will you want to go to New York or Cleveland first?
Did we really talk about Cliff Kingsbury though? I think it was like a thing that we briefly discussed on Tuesday.
Okay.
Or LaFleur. I mean, did we really?
We talked about LaFleur.
All right. So Kingsbury, he goes from coach at Texas Tech to hired coach in Arizona Cardinals, which is incredible. All right.
So how long was he OC for USC? Like 30 days?
Something like that.
Something
so what's your
incredibly tiny.
You like this, or you think it's a positive move for Arizona? What's your take?
I think it's because of what Patrick Mahomes has done in the NFL. They think he can do that with Josh Rosen, I'm believing. I think that's the main thing. So it could benefit them in the long run, but we'll see.
Of course, he did have Mahomes. He did have Case Keenum. He did have who else? He coached Case Keenum, Patrick Mahomes, and Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, and of course he can always they can always do what they did with Wilkes and just fire him after one season.
Yeah, I don't think so.
You can't do that twice in a row?
Oh, you can, but for an owner as cheap as the Bidwell family, I don't think they're going to pay 2 ex-coaches plus a current coach. I really don't see them firing another coach back-to-back years, because then you start paying a ton of money for a position.
Because that's severance.
You have to pay the whole contract.
I know.
Coaches get guaranteed money in the NFL, which is funny.
Yeah, I'm sure that what he got wasn't that much money, though. Wilkes. Wasn't he one of the lowest paid coaches in the league?
Yeah, and it sounds like Kingsbury, when they report it, will be one of the lowest too. But still, I mean,
that's why
if you're stingy at paying coaches, you're not going to just start throwing around money for 3 coaches.
I think that's why they went Kingsbury mostly, is because he's cheap. He's gonna be they're gonna lowball him of all lowballs. But this is gonna be his first head coaching gig in the NFL, so he's gonna take it.
Yeah. Does it concern you that that Kingsbury had a losing record at Texas Tech?
I think it's mainly progression of players is important.
But does it concern you that the knock on Patrick Mahomes was that he wasn't mechanically sound? Like, he was a really raw prospect. Like, he didn't develop when he was in college. Like, does that bother you?
Well, he came into the league and threw 50 touchdown passes, so he was only on the bench
he wasn't
for a year.
Yeah, I know, but that's a year with Andy Reid. Andy Reid, who might be the best quarterback guru in the NFL. But that was the knock on Mahomes. The knock on Mahomes was could do it all. The dude could throw 80 yards. You remember his combine? Like, it was incredible. And then the Chiefs jumped up big time to go pick him. He wasn't going to be a pick in the top 15 until the Chiefs ponied up and went after him.
I think he can do a lot of good. Kingsbury can do a lot of good things with this Cardinals.
But does it bother you? Okay, so other than the quarterback position, is he a good coach? Is Kingsbury a good coach, head coach, not quarterbacks coach?
Well, he was. Texas Tech has to face a lot of great teams, way better than they are. And recruiting is also a big problem in Texas Tech when you have Texas right next to you and Texas A&M right next to you. So
I've heard this. This is true.
Yeah.
But
so
what about his predecessor being more successful than him? Mike Leach was more successful at Texas Tech than Kingsbury was.
Well, do you want me to be on your side? It feels like on this.
No. I'm asking you some legit questions.
I know. I'm just okay.
Mike Leach was 49-40 as coach at Texas Tech, and he had the same recruiting problems, He was 9 games over 500. Kingsbury was 5 games under 500, despite having Patrick Mahomes, despite having Case Keenum.
You got to also look at offensive line and wide receivers.
I know, but
defense.
He's the coach, so he's responsible for all those things.
Yeah, but sometimes you can do so much with little talent.
I know the argument that I presented to you is that Mike Leach also had the same.
Yeah, he 5 games over 500 besides
9
5
games over 500 to 5 games under 500. So a difference of 14 wins is incredibly high.
Yeah, but you're looking at the fact that maybe when Mike Leach was the coach, Texas wasn't as good as they are now. And they've been consistently getting better as the years go on.
But they haven't gotten better. Texas Tech hasn't gotten better. They've gotten worse under Kingsbury. That's a fact.
That's what I'm saying. Their teams they are facing are getting better.
I mean, are they? Or are they just getting worse?
Texas A&M was getting a lot better. Texas is getting a lot better.
Okay.
Those are the two main teams I'm going to discuss.
But they're not playing them They're not playing them, right?
Yeah, like who else? Oh, we had UTSA, who had a first-round draft pick in their midst.
All right. Well, it just seems like Kingsbury
they're
wasn't
They're gonna go 10-6, and I'm gonna laugh.
They could, or they could go 2-12 or 2-14. Excuse me.
I think they should keep him for a while because I think he has potential.
Hey, I'm not saying Kingsbury can't be a good NFL coach. I'm just merely presenting the argument that he hasn't been successful, period. And it's really hard to justify this hire. I'm not saying he can't do it. I'm just saying it seems like
you can't do it.
Interesting hire for a team going from Steve Wilkes, who had no experience, to going to a guy who has very limited experience, and it hasn't been great.
Well, it's better than no experience. I mean, he has some experience.
It might be better. It might not. We'll see.
Yeah.
Adam Gase to the Jets.
I like this because he kept that team. They were mediocre, granted, the Dolphins. I mean, 7-9 almost every year. He brought them to the playoffs one time, so he's done pretty good with them because they should be at the bottom of the barrel usually, and he usually keeps them up there. So I'm going to say that is pretty good.
Adam Gase also well connected. That's another thing with Kingsbury is that he's not very connected to the NFL. We don't know who's going to be his coordinators, and he said at his press conference that he had to rely on the general manager to figure out who his staff will be.
Well, I think he had to do that regardless because that general manager beats his own drum. He does not.
That's kind of where I'm going with that, though, is that I think Kingsbury is set up to fail regardless because he doesn't really have connections in the NFL, and he's going to be hamstrung by the fact that the general manager of the Arizona Cardinals hasn't drafted well and is the king of that castle and will have to make all the decisions.
He has probably the biggest ego of all general managers, huh, if you put it on a category up there. Yeah.
Now, for the Jets, Adam Gase, yes, he had, I don't know. I wouldn't even say he was bad at Miami. I thought he was fairly good for all things considered with Jay Cutler and Ryan Tannehill, and he pretty much went 500 the last 2 years. Yeah. Not bad.
Well, he's not a bad coach at all. And he can move the Jets to 500.
And what I like about him is that he's going to get, it sounds like, either Vance Joseph, who he's worked with before, who was the defensive coordinator when he was the offense coordinator at Denver.
So if this happens, we will have two coaches who got fired and went to defensive coordinators to other coaches who got hired.
Yeah, so it sounds like Gase will have Vance Joseph or Greg Williams as defensive coordinator, which is a really good start for the Jets.
I would rather have Vance Joseph. Less controversy. Because
either way, though, it's a good start, right?
Well, let's just remember the fact that Greg Williams was also Bountygate.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I'm just saying that.
And they probably are still doing that now. Let's be honest. It probably is still going on. Yeah, he got in trouble for it, but doesn't mean he might have not stopped.
Mm-hmm.
That's also a crucial thing to think about. But
so, yeah, the difference between going from Gase to a guy like Kingsbury is that Gase has the ability to put together a strong coaching staff. So if that happens, I think the Jets could easily be the second best team in the AFC East next year, right? They got the Bills and the Dolphins. The Dolphins look like they're sinking. The Bills look like they're doing Buffalo Bills things, and they're the same team every year. We'll see what they do next year with Josh Allen. But I still don't look at the Bills as like a playoff team next year, where now I can kind of see the Jets possibly getting there with another year of Darnold with Adam Gase.
Yeah.
Their defense is decent.
And the Patriots are honestly declining. I think people have to admit that.
Are they? Are they declining? They're probably going to win the Super Bowl now, huh?
They're declining. I don't care what anyone says.
But are they going to win the Super Bowl? They could.
They can win the Super Bowl today, but I still say they decline next season.
Mm-hmm. Possibly. Absolutely. That could happen. And what about, let's move on. Cleveland. I think that's the most interesting hire of the last couple days. Freddie Kitchens. He's all of a sudden the head coach of the Cleveland Browns.
Where did this come from? This was my biggest WTF moment because I had no idea he was even considered for the head coaching job.
Yeah. It looks like he kind of told the Browns, either I'm the head coach or I'm leaving. Also, there was a report that Mike McCarthy was offered the job for the Browns, but was told that he would have to accept Freddie Kitchens being his offensive coordinator, in which he turned down the job. What do you think about these rumors in this situation of the Browns feeling this strongly, obviously, about very unproven coach and unproven coordinator?
I think it's definitely a big question mark because of the fact that when the guy says, "Oh, that's my offensive coordinator," no way, and he just totally declines the offer.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I feel like that's the most attractive offer in the NFL right now because that team can win and win now and win big. So that's a serious issue.
You know what's funny? Because we talked about what were the two most attractive head coaching positions this offseason?
The Packers and the Browns.
And who did they end up with? LaFleur and Kitchens. Isn't that interesting? So two very unknown people.
Unknown or unqualified?
Combined, they have a year and a half of offensive coordinator experience and 0 years of head coaching experience. Isn't that funny?
Yeah, it's not the smartest decision. It's pretty.
What do you think about all this? Like, do you think that the NFL is too focused on quarterback position coaches as head coaches and not like leadership skills and maybe other things that have to go into being an actual head coach? Because it sounds like all these owners are looking for the guy who's the quarterback guru, right? Like as their head coach. But a lot of times that guy might just be a really good offensive coordinator and not really a head coach.
Yeah.
So what do you think about this latest trend? Like, we're not seeing the John Harbaughs of the world hired where he was like a special teams coach, but he had leadership abilities and he had command of a room, right?
Yeah.
Like, is Freddie Kitchens, is LaFleur over in Green Bay? I think LaFleur is going to get eaten alive by Aaron Rodgers, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Like, does LaFleur have a chance in Green Bay?
If it was dodgeball, maybe.
Think about this. Aaron Rodgers, Hall of Fame quarterback, years and years of experience, Super Bowl champion. You think he's really going to listen to what LaFleur has to tell him? Basically a quarterback's coach his whole career?
See, I feel like that's a gray area.
And we know that Rodgers was on the committee of picking the head coach. So, like, who has more power in the room?
Wow.
Aaron Rodgers has more power in the room.
Yeah, that is some pretty suspicious things. I feel like Aaron Rodgers thinks he can manipulate this head coach more than any others.
I mean, but who wouldn't if you were him? If you were him, why wouldn't you want to pick your head coach, right?
Yeah.
You have the power. You have...
But do you think there's some more underlining reasons that we're not seeing, that we're not knowing?
Well, like he has an ego?
No, I'm talking about like Aaron Rodgers wanting this as his head coach. Like, is he going to be manning the head coach? Like, that's what I'm saying.
He as in who?
Aaron Rodgers, he's basically going to be the coach himself type of thing. Like, he's going to take over, basically. He's going to rule the kingdom.
I don't know, but I mean, obviously, if he has LaFleur, it makes him more powerful than if a guy like Arians is in the building.
Yeah, this is the order of power: owner, general manager, Aaron Rodgers, LaFleur.
Mm-hmm. I would agree with that.
Yeah, and that's not a good start for LaFleur.
I just think he's going to be eaten alive. I really do. By Aaron Rodgers, by the fan base. We'll see what happens. I mean, obviously they like him.
He signed up for this, so.
I mean, who wouldn't, right? I feel like any one of us would, even if we had options. Like, who wouldn't want to be the coach of the Packers? They're a great franchise.
It's pretty cold over there.
You're right, but they are a great franchise.
I'm not denying their franchise.
And if you're a guy like LaFleur who's been offensive coordinator for 1 year of your career.
Less than.
Well, he was a Titans coach.
Oh, that's right. I apologize.
But still.
He's been a coach for a cup of coffee.
Technically, he was the offensive coordinator for the Rams, but we know he didn't call the plays, so you don't really consider him an offensive coordinator if you're not calling the plays, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of different aspects to this, definitely. And
so Miami and Cincinnati are open still.
Yes, and I would rather go to Miami than Cincinnati, personally.
Even if you knew in advance that the next 2 years were going to be brutal for you and you're going to have to endure a lot of losses?
I'm living in Miami. compared to living in Cincinnati. I'm also thinking about everything. I'm thinking about the team itself, the situation, your home,
What about
and the
your
money.
career, though? Because you'd rather go going somewhere with a chance of succeeding is a little bit better than going somewhere with a chance of failure.
Yeah,
too. You got to add that in, right?
If they're actually saying we're tanking, I'm not going to think that. I'm going to keep having my players play the very best they can. And
But I mean, if the ownership and the management is not just telling you that we're trying to tank the next couple of years, but telling you we're not signing any big names, we're going to draft young players. You're going to have no quarterback. We're probably going to sign Flacco or Sam Bradford or some washed-up guy.
I'm asking for a little bit of more money.
And what if they say we're going to pay you the average salary of the NFL?
I say you're going to up it a little bit, or I'm walking.
In that regard, they might just go somewhere else, right? They might just okay, we have other candidates.
Or, maybe they are nice and give me the job because they understand that no one else is going to take this job if they're tanking for 2 seasons.
I feel like Cincinnati at least wants to win.
Yeah.
Does that make a difference?
But that team is so... There's just so much wrong with it. There's just a lot of problems there.
Yeah, but they do have some positives. I mean...
Name one.
A.J. Green. Mixon.
He's at the end of his career. Mixon... I think is still getting haunted by the time where he hit that girl before the draft.
Wait, haunted? What do you mean by that?
Like, it's going to come back to bite him eventually. I feel like.
Like, he's going to do it again?
No, I'm not saying he's going to do it again. I'm just saying, like, I don't know.
What do you mean by haunted? I'm actually curious. Like, he's cursed?
No, not cursed. I'm just saying, like, this incident is going to rise up again somehow, one way or another.
I don't know.
He's going to be reminded of it.
I mean, he's probably reminded of it a lot, but
like, no one really talks about it. I feel like people are going to talk more and more about it as he gets more and more successful.
Mm-hmm.
Because once you get more and more successful, your skeletons in your closet start to peek out.
Well, we've seen Tyreek Hill kind of move past it.
What did he do?
He hit a woman.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Pretty
completely.
bad. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
He had a very serious charge against him.
I take back what I said. I might be wrong on this.
But, I mean, the Bengals, yes, they have problems. Like, they don't have the best personnel, but they do have a couple good players.
Yeah. Yes, they do. And, like...
Their receivers are good. Tyler Boyd looks pretty good.
Yes, and like you said, compared to the Bengals to the Chiefs, personnel-wise...
Bengals to the Dolphins.
Oh, I was talking about just Tyreek Hill, too.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, and I was to Joe Mixon. I would say that the Chiefs are better at damage control because I don't remember. I completely forgot about Tyreek Hill's charge.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I'm taking that back what I said. But overall, I'm going to say the fact that Cincinnati just never seemed very attractive to me. They don't seem like they can win now or the next.
They have the Skyline Chili though. Have you ever had Skyline Chili?
No, I don't like. I'm not a big fan of.
I've never had it either, but apparently it's amazing.
I would rather, but
I'd rather drink Mai Tais on the beach.
After those 2 years, then the Dolphins are going to go all out. I feel like.
And what if they still suck because their ownership has been the same for a long time and they can't seem to win?
Cincinnati's the same exact way.
I know, but at least Cincinnati's been like. I don't know. They've been to the playoffs a few times and are at least in the mix. Miami's like never in the mix. It seems
they were in the playoffs not too long ago.
They were in the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got knocked out.
So it's not crazy to think they can get back there.
It's not crazy, but they're also.
I just think that
we're talking about two teams with bad ownership.
I personally believe that the Dolphins ownership is better than the Cincinnati ownership.
I mean, is it?
Yes. Have you seen Cincinnati's ownership and what they let their?
I mean,
it's like inmates are running the asylum over there.
I mean, what has Miami done? They're both the same to me. They're both bad. They're both bottom 5. Like, I don't know.
So why not go to the place where
saying one is better than the other is like, is it?
I
like,
didn't.
I don't know.
When I say better, I don't mean superior. I mean like just it seems like it's a little more organized over there.
I mean, the weather's better. I'll give them that.
But I'm just saying Miami seems a little more organized. And I just know I think a better area to be a coach in than Cincinnati, and where it feels like it's it's always like Marvin Lewis was always against his players. His players were always kind of revolting.
Well, both of these places are not good enough for Mike McCarthy because he's decided to sit out the rest of the year in terms of coaching.
You know, as a coach that's coached for like a decade, he probably just needs a break, a year to just turn off the batteries.
Probably. Or he just doesn't want to get caught up with either of those two franchises, right?
Well, what other are going to be available? Who knows? But we're going to take a short break. First, I want to talk to you about Audible. When listening to audiobooks, it inspires us, motivates us, and even brings us closer. And there's no better place to listen than Audible. Audible has the largest selection of audiobooks on the planet, and now Audible members get more than ever before. Each month, they get 3 titles of their choice, 1 audiobook, 2 Audible originals, and finished programs they can't get anywhere else. There's never been a better time to experience Audible. Try it free for 30 days by visiting audible.com/GSMCbook or by texting the code GSMCbook to 500500. Once again, if you want to try Audible free for 30 days, go to audible.com/GSMCbook or text the code GSMCbook to 500500.
What happens to your decision-making when you drink? Well, after one drink, you feel confident. A few more, and calling your ex at 1 a.m. seems like a great idea. And you're pretty sure the secret to a great taco is 4-day-old macaroni. The bottom line, drunk you doesn't make great decisions. So you're risking a DUI or worse if you count on him to get you home. Plan before you party. Get home safe. Brought to you by Washington Target Zero.
Welcome back, everyone, to the GSMC Football Podcast. We just finished talking about head coaches in the NFL, and you have a survey for us about quarterbacks, don't you?
Yeah. Well, before I do that, let's
Okay.
see. How many coaches have been signed? Is it 6? We have Gase.
Tampa Bay. We have
We got Gase. Kingsbury. We have who else?
Arians.
Got here? LaFleur. Arians.
Kitchens.
And who am I missing? Gase, Kingsbury, LaFleur, Arians.
I think that's it.
I'm missing one, right?
I don't think so.
Gase, Kingsbury, LaFleur. Was there 8 jobs or 7 jobs open?
There was the Jets, there was the Buccaneers, there was the Dolphins, there was the Cincinnati Bengals, there was the Cleveland Browns, there was the Green Bay Packers, and that's it. Oh, and Arizona Cardinals. So there were 7.
Gotcha. Okay, so of Gase, Kingsbury, LaFleur, Arians, and Kitchens,
That's 5.
who is the most likely to succeed, most unlikely to succeed?
Well, I'm going to say the least likely is going to be, I know what I am praising this guy, but Kingsbury has the worst to go off of.
Mm-hmm.
Because the team's just that terrible. I would say the most likely to succeed is honestly Kitchens because of the fact that how good that team is.
Mm-hmm.
It's not because of his coaching.
I would say that the most likely to succeed is probably Arians.
Tampa, okay.
Because he has a good staff. Todd Bowles, Arians. I think he can get the most out of Jameis Winston. I just think he's a good coach. Like, I know that he's a good coach. All these other guys,
everyone
I'm
knows
not
he's
sure
a good
that
coach.
they're
He's
good
very
coaches.
he's very respected for a reason.
I'm not sure any of the other guys are good coaches, even Adam Gase. I know Adam Gase is a good offensive coordinator, but I don't know if he's a good head coach still. I think he can be. I like him. Like, I still have optimism for him. Mm-hmm. Kingsbury, LaFleur, Kitchens, I have no idea. Like, literally none. I think any of us would be lying if we knew.
Because he's never done this.
All 3 of them have never done it. So, all right. So let's move on to The Athletic. The Athletic had an article
Did they now?
Mm-hmm. I don't know if you saw it, but they basically pulled 85 defensive players in the NFL. They asked them questions, 12 different questions actually. They all documented their answers, and we'll get into it. So number one, and you already know some of these, so just play along with me.
Okay.
Number one was, which quarterback would you least like to face in a big game? And it was Tom Brady.
Yes, that's no surprise.
52%. Aaron Rodgers was 32%.
That makes sense, too.
But I don't think I told you who the other two players were that received votes.
I don't think you did either, no.
Who were the other two that received votes?
Gosh, would Patrick Mahomes be one?
Yes.
Called that, okay. And who would be the fourth? Jeez. Who is he? Let me ask you: is he young or is he a veteran?
Veteran.
Phillip Rivers.
It's Drew Brees.
Duh, Jeff. Come on, get your head out of your butt.
And then the next question was, which quarterback would you most like to face in a big game? And the top answer was Tom Brady.
I don't think it's for the reasons of he's bad. I think it's for the reasons of like you want to beat the legend that is Tom Brady.
The people who got votes, it was a mixed bag of good quarterbacks that you want to beat and bad quarterbacks that you just want to play and get an easy win. And these are the answers. You ready?
Okay.
Brady. Number 2 was Peterman.
Okay.
Number 3 was Rodgers. But then it went Jameis, Bortles, then Breeze, then Mahomes. So I think
so
there's
it's like
the
back
mix.
and forth. Yeah. Makes sense.
It's interesting, right? It's a wide range of responses.
Yeah, like Peterman obviously number 2 because he's interception machine.
You were surprised by this one. Who is the most underrated NFL quarterback? The top answer was Cam Newton.
Yes, he wasn't. I wasn't thinking of him as I think he's pretty rated as a good quarterback.
Number 2 was Rivers at 11%, and number 3 was Alex Smith at 8%.
I understand Alex Smith. Phillip Rivers is underrated as well.
Others receiving multiple votes: Russell Wilson, Trubisky, Drew Brees.
This is underrated or overrated?
Underrated.
Underrated?
Drew Brees was even on there, and Lamar Jackson.
How is Drew Brees on there when he's considered one of the greatest?
Because he's never won MVP, and some people still think he's not getting the credit as deserved. Some people think he's better than Aaron Rodgers.
Sometimes he has a better season. I agree with that.
I mean, I can see Drew Brees. I feel like Drew Brees has been a little bit underrated in his career. Like, we're not really talking about when we talk about the greatest in this era. He really doesn't get brought up. It's really Rodgers and Brady.
That's not true at all. I hear a lot of people say.
Yeah, but he's not number 1 or number 2.
I see. He's moving up there.
Right, but
no one's gonna pass Tom Brady. I get that.
Right, he's definitely behind Aaron Rodgers. For most people, will say Aaron Rodgers is better than Drew Brees. Most people. I'm not saying everybody, but the consensus would be 1, 2, and then Brees might be number 3. Right?
Might be. He is number 3.
Might be number 3.
What are you?
Are
you serious?
I'm not telling you my opinion. I'm telling you what the common knowledge is.
Well, you don't give them enough credit. You don't give the people enough credit.
I'm telling you that Drew Brees is underrated, and you're arguing to me that he's not rated highly enough. We're arguing the same thing.
No, but you're saying he might be number 3. I think that's
in terms of public opinion.
I'm saying you're not giving the public opinion enough credit.
What do you mean?
Like you're saying they won't put him at number. They won't even.
Some people would put him at 3, and he probably is number 3, but not everybody has him properly rated.
Well, they're wrong. We both agree on that.
Well, hey, a lot of people think that Drew Brees is underrated. What NFL people? Who's the most overrated quarterback?
That's an interesting one.
You didn't get this right, but then I told you what it is. Do you remember?
That was like 20 minutes
Runner-up was Eli Manning.
Right. Wasn't it? It was Tom Brady, wasn't it?
It was Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins, right.
At 13%. This one was spread out a little bit. Also receiving votes: Flacco, Ryan, Stafford, Brady, Derek Carr, Dalton, Prescott, Winston, Bradford.
Stafford makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
He was the number 1 overall pick.
Who is the most impressive quarterback under age 25? This one was a landslide. 72%.
Nathan Peterman, no question. Okay, Patrick Mahomes.
The runner-ups were...
No, seriously, Nathan Peterman.
The runner-ups were who?
Let's see. I would say Sam Darnold, number 2.
No. Goff is 2, and then Deshaun Watson is 3. There was only one other quarterback that received a vote, and that was Carson Wentz.
Yeah, he is pretty. I thought, he is young.
Who is the most impressive rookie quarterback? 60% said.
Rookie? Baker Mayfield.
21% said.
Darnold?
Yes, and 7% said.
Jackson?
Yes.
That's 100% total, isn't it?
It's 88. The other two got 1 vote each. It looks like.
That's a bummer. Should be a little more respected, but okay.
There's some that said no comment. Not all of these are 85 total votes. Some of them voted no comment.
Okay.
Or didn't vote. Should Colin Kaepernick be on the NFL roster?
95% said yes. I already
Yes.
figured.
Mhm.
I got an update on Bleacher Report because of that one.
And if you could replace one NFL quarterback, this is a quarterback who started the season with Colin. If you could replace one starting quarterback with Colin Kaepernick, who would you pick? The consensus
probably
was
Blake
this
Bortles.
person. Yes, Blake Bortles.
Everyone was saying that.
Mm-hmm. Which backup quarterback should be a starter? I think this is really easy. Which backup quarterback in the NFL?
Right now.
No, not saying right now, but which quarterback who is a backup quarterback in the NFL should be a starter?
So like Joe Flacco, since he's the backup, or
It's not Joe Flacco.
well, would you consider him a backup now?
Yes.
Okay, so who else is a
He is
backup?
currently in the playoffs.
Oh. Let's see. There's Tom Brady's. There's the Patriots. There's the Cowboys.
You're going to run into it, and you're going to be like, no, duh.
Okay. Okay. There's the Chargers and the Chiefs, and then there's who am I missing on that? Oh, there's the Patriots versus the Cowboys. No. What am I talking about? Patriots versus the Chargers, and then there's Chiefs versus the Colts.
It's on the NFC.
Goff. And who's also
Come on, man.
Teddy Bridgewater?
No, he's number 2.
I'm in this ballpark.
How do you not know?
Hold on, shut up. Saints and Saints and Rams. Then there who
else
won?
is
Cowboys. Who's the last team? I can't remember. Hold on, don't tell me.
This is
Stop
great.
laughing.
This is great.
The Cowboys.
Who is the defending Super Bowl
Oh
champion?
my God.
It's Nick Foles.
I forgot. I completely forgot that the Eagles are still in the playoffs.
So who do you think is the third backup quarterback?
I have no idea.
It's Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Okay.
Which quarterback is most dangerous on third down?
Most dangerous.
According to the votes, the players.
Most dangerous
According to the
on
players.
third
85
down.
defensive players.
Brady?
He is not in the top 4. He's not in the top 8.
Is that shocking to you?
It is
to me?
shocking.
Okay, I'm not crazy.
Who the answer
Rodgers?
is not shocking. Yes, it's Rodgers.
Yeah.
Who's runner-up?
Breeze?
He's not. There's 3
Really?
ahead. There's 2 ahead of Breeze.
Mahomes?
Yes. Mahomes is Mahomes number 3, 1 vote behind this person, who is very tough to get a hold of.
Watson? Jackson?
Good guess on Watson, but no. This person is very shifty, very tough to get a hold of on third downs. Hard to sack.
Mayfield?
Has won a Super Bowl.
Breeze? No, wait, I already said that. Won a Super Bowl. Nick Foles?
No. Shifty. Think athletic quarterback.
Who won a Super Bowl?
Who won a Super Bowl. Should have won 2 Super Bowls.
Russell Wilson.
Yeah. Should have had 2
Should have, but he threw the ball to the guy in Malcolm Butler's hands.
They should have ran the ball.
Oh, well, too little, too late. They lost the Super Bowl, one of the greatest endings ever, and they're always
right.
going to remember it, and
This
all
is an
Seahawks fans will
interesting-
cry,
this
and I will
is-
drink their tears.
This is the most interesting question to date on this poll.
Okay.
I want you to think about this carefully. Which quarterback would you most want as your teammate in the locker room?
Mahomes?
Mahomes finished as a multiple vote getter, but he's not in the top 3.
Breeze.
Breeze is not on here.
You're kidding.
I am not.
That's shocking. Would you agree on that?
So a note to this is that players were not allowed to vote for their current quarterback, and there were 18 votes that were either no comment or a vote for their teammate, and those votes were excluded.
Okay.
So this is more about perception around the league for other quarterbacks. Because I'm pretty sure everybody.
Did I say Brady?
I'm pretty sure everybody who plays with Breeze picked Breeze.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What about Brady?
Brady's number 2.
Okay.
Slightly ahead of him by 3 votes.
Russell Wilson?
No, he did not make it.
That's surprising as well.
The players who got multiple votes but did not make the top 3 are Rivers, Mahomes, Watson, and Wentz. You got the runner-up in Brady. You're missing the number 1 and number 3. Who actually, I am very shocked by this.
Mahomes? Foles.
Number 1 is
Wait, Aaron Rodgers?
Aaron Rodgers.
No way, he's hated.
25%. Number 3 is Cam Newton.
That is shocking as well. No, Rodgers has been known to not be a good teammate.
Hey, I'm not. These are defensive players that are actually in the NFL.
I've heard players say horrible things about
All
Aaron
right,
Rodgers.
now this is the best one.
Okay.
Which quarterback would you least want as your teammate in the locker room? Again, remember, this is perception by players in the league. You cannot vote for your own player.
You want against
Which quarterback would you least want as your teammate?
Aaron Rodgers.
No.
Really? Tom Brady.
Both are not on here.
Phillip Rivers.
Phillip Rivers is multiple vote getter, but not in the top 3.
Blake Bortles.
Bortles multiple vote getter, not in the top 3. Also in the top, or also receiving multiple votes, not in the top 3. Rosen, Peterman. Peterman, Rivers, Bortles. So your top 3 you have not got, including number 1, number 2.
Will I be shocked about these?
Maybe 1.
Jared Goff.
No.
Eli Manning.
Think about a team that has turmoil right now.
Eli Manning.
A team that's been in the news.
Ben
a lot.
Roethlisberger.
He's number 3.
He's
he's tied for 2.
Okay.
But he's not number 1.
Gosh, who's number 1 and 2? Let's think about this. Philadelphia? No, none of them have really turmoil.
I think I should just tell you.
Mitchell Trubisky? No, I'm going to keep guessing.
You got 2 more guesses, I'm telling you.
Okay, let's see about this.
Come on.
I don't want to say him because I like him a lot, but Andrew Luck?
No.
Okay, that's what I think. Good.
You got 1 more guess.
Let's see about this. This is kind of tough, but let's. God, I don't know.
All right.
No, shut it.
People are listening. They want to know.
I am flabbergasted because I can't think of any other quarterback that has turmoil.
4.
No, if you count down, I will kick you. Fine.
2.
Ryan Tannehill.
No, the 2 players. Your top answer is Cam Newton. He is the least.
Really?
Which quarterback would you least want as your teammate?
Wait, so he's up there with most and least?
Yeah, some of these categories have had both.
Okay.
And then Jameis Winston is tied with Ben Roethlisberger.
Jameis
Winston.
Winston.
Least one as your teammate. I think that makes sense.
Yeah, Cam Newton's a bit of a question, though.
So that is, again, a survey that The Athletic put out of...
A reminder, these are all defensive players.
85 random defensive players throughout the league. So before we end today's show, we got to talk about some injury news, right?
Sure, go for it.
Todd Gurley.
Yes, that's the biggest one.
Todd Gurley, I guess his knee is still not right. He hasn't played in a couple weeks. Remember, he sat week 17, and he got a bye week. He's going to log a couple practices this week to see if he can give it a go. Are you concerned about his knee? Like, do you think that...
I would be totally concerned.
Mm-hmm.
Any kind of injury during this crucial time in the season is definitely going to be concerned. I don't care how little it is.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a huge deal. If he's not able to go, I mean, even if he is, C.J. Anderson, I know he's had a couple of good games, but he's not going to do... He's not going to do what Gurley does.
Yeah, well, CJ
not in the playoffs.
CJ's been playing well, no doubt about it, and I'm sure he'll be fine. But Todd Gurley's Todd Gurley.
Absolutely, might be the best running back in the league.
Well, without Kareem Hunt there, yeah, you might have to put Barkley ahead of him in the future.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely a issue.
Anyways, I think that's it for today. And then tomorrow when we come back, we're going to break down all the games, the preview of the divisional round.
Yes, we will, because it's time for the playoffs. It's divisional round time.
Wow.
Yeah, divisional round time. Why is it called the divisional round instead of I
don't know.
What would we call the semifinals?
Quarters.
Quarterfinals? Well, that doesn't
There's
sound
8 teams left.
football-y. I guess divisional just sounds better. Maybe. Well, back in the day, they used to have the North. They didn't have the North or South. They had the Central. They had 3 divisions instead of 4.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that was it. Anyways, thank you for joining us. Please tune us in tomorrow for our preview and our 500th episode. Big time, big for Golden State Media Concept. The GSMC. So we will see you tomorrow. Enjoy your Thursday, everybody.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.